everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is going to be a reading for Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising positions for the period of the upcoming week, July 19th to the 25th. Let's see what messages we have for Leo. Leos are celebrating birthdays coming up, July 23rd to the 22nd of August. So we've got some Cancers having a happy birthday right now, hopefully. All right, Leo, what messages do we have for you for July 19th to the 25th? Okay. Okay, my Leo friends, let's see what's going on for you here. Very interesting cards. Sort of look familiar to one of the other readings I just finished doing for Cancer. Now, it looks like my Leos are highly reflective right now. You are looking into your past, very actively wondering about certain decisions you made in the past, maybe feeling kind of nostalgic, maybe reminiscing, but maybe also being kind of critical. And maybe looking at the past actions on an emotional level and being sort of critical of yourself. You might be wondering if there were signs along the way. Looks like right now in the present, you must be dealing with something highly emotional right now, Leo, because it's got you looking at the past to try to understand how this happened. How did the present happen? How did this incident in the present that you're thinking about heavily, how did this happen? And this incident that's happening right now or has recently happened involved the external world and a bit of a conflict, actually. So looks like my Leos are in conflict with an external element, person, place, force, experience, relationship. Something in the external world right now is a challenge for the Leo. And it looks like you're looking at the past to try to figure out how you got here. How did this happen? Well, let's look at the past. It's interesting because this is a 6 and this is a 7. So they even go with each other in terms of, you know, you're in the 7 right now and you're looking at the 6 to see. But the 7 looks like it's a spiritual battle and you're looking at the past very emotionally. So this is very interesting because it's a very beautiful reading here, my dear Leo, because you've sort of got, you know, you've got everything on the board here in terms of the elements except Pentacles. So that's very interesting. So it's almost like you're in your head and heart right now. You are in your head and your heart, and they are at odds with each other. You're starting to notice that things are changing in your life, though. You're noticing this change, and you're noticing that this change is bringing about sudden life pattern cycle shifts. Okay, so you're noticing that your life, the cycle of where you're at in life right now is starting to shift, and you're trying to understand this. You're trying to understand this, but it's almost like you're getting in your own way because you're not observing the emotions. You're feeling all of these emotions. You need to just step back and observe, Leo. And it's hard for you because as a Leo, you tend to have to tie things back to yourself in order to understand them. And as a result, your mood can be very shifty. Your mood shifts with what happens around you very easily, Leo, because the external affects the internal dramatically. And right now, the guidance you're being given is to try and manage that by just observing. Try to observe the emotions, because when you get into them too much, you start to feel them, and then that throws off everything you're trying to understand because you start to become so involved in the emotion that you can't really see beyond that. And so when you see the King of Cups here, he's really an energy, it's a masculine energy in a feminine energy suit. And the masculine energy here is very decisive and able to just observe and make decisions when emotions are high. Now, that might sound really foreign to a lot of people listening right now, because when the emotions are high, it's difficult to be decisive, isn't it? And it feels challenging to just observe. But that is what you were being asked to proceed with here. And it's like, you need to stop overthinking things. Stop overthinking things, because you're catastrophizing, Leo, and you're making it about more than it is. It's almost like, you're overthinking things, and as a result, you're having a hard time being decisive because you're overthinking it. So not only are you overthinking it mentally, but I would suggest that you're overthinking it emotionally as well. You're sort of making these emotions facts. You're making feelings facts, and feelings are certainly not facts. They are just how they give you a clue about how an experience made you feel, but that does not mean anything beyond that. Okay, so it's almost like you're overthinking things, but in a way that's not serving you, because this card is reversed. So I mean, you're overthinking things in a way that it's not true. It's like, let's say you didn't hear from someone that you care about for a long time. Emotionally, you are saying, that hurt my feelings because I just want to have a relationship with this person, and they're not phoning me, they're not calling me back, they're not texting me back. And then you struggle against that. You struggle and struggle and struggle against that. And then you overthink it to the point where you are saying to yourself, that person doesn't love me anymore. And then that becomes an internal belief that you hold. And then that makes you feel awful. And you proceed believing, now this person doesn't love me anymore because they're not calling me, they're not checking on me, they're not responding to me. That's how it made you feel. But, there may be more to that situation. If you were observing it instead of feeling all those emotions, maybe you would discover that that person is going through something right now that prevents them from reaching out to their friends. Or maybe that person is involved in something right now that is limiting their ability to communicate at this time. It might not have anything to do with you, right? That's what I'm getting at here. So it's almost like you're personalizing things because of the way they make you feel. You assume that it must be about you. They're not texting me back because they don't love me. And that becomes a rule in your mind that creates this devastation. But it's not necessarily the truth, right? This is what's happening for my Leos right now. They are interpreting things in a way that are shifting them, but not in a way that serves them. Very interesting. Okay, let's get 4 oracle cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you. Okay. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Now, my dear Leo, what I can see here is that you need some inner peace. You need to understand that your inner peace is not reliant or dependent on the external world. That is a tricky one for you, because you tend to base how you feel about things on the external world. And no, you need to decide how you feel. The external world's going to make you feel a certain way, but that shouldn't change your I am statements. Your I am statements need to be more stable and less dependent on the external world, okay? You are who you are regardless of what's happening in the external world. You don't need validation from the external world to tell you who you are, Leo, and it seems like that's the lesson that you're on the path of learning right now. And I do see that there is a change here happening, which is also echoed by the Knight of Swords. So you are preparing for a change that you don't really understand, but guess what? It's totally divinely timed. Okay, so when we see the sandwiching of the cards, this sudden change is being confirmed by the change in the wind card. The sudden change is evident in the Knight of Swords. It's being confirmed by the change in the wind, and TikTok implies that it's divinely timed. So this sudden change that is coming up for you, Leo, is divinely timed, and it is here to teach you to develop this sense of inner well-being. Okay. Now, when I was saying earlier that the King of Cups wants you to be more decisive and more of an observer that has the ability to be decisive, look at what we see here. The masculine energy card and no place like home above. So the King of Swords here is being sandwiched by no place like home and the masculine energy. So that really suggests that you need to sort of tap into that masculine energy to be more decisive and less, we need to be more strategic here. We need to be more strategic, and we need to sort of understand that you can shift mentally, and you will. You don't have to define yourself and then leave it defined and never evolve. The whole point is to evolve. And so we can make decisions. We can form a new path. We can choose. You need to make a different choice here, Leo, and it is divinely timed. So this conflict that's happening in the external world is happening on divine timing to help you understand that you can be more decisive about where and what you expend your energy on, okay? You don't need to fight the external world. You can just be. Right? And that is sort of the energy I'm picking up on for you here, but that it's all divinely timed, Leo. This is all happening exactly when it was meant to happen for you. And your final guidance is to stop overthinking this whole process. And that I can see that it's difficult for you, that overthinking things has become your way of being, especially when you think about emotional stuff from the past. But there's no reason to overthink it, Leo. You can just understand that your inner peace is the most valuable thing and go forward being an observer and not getting too involved in the drama. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that for you, Leo. Thank you so much. If this has resonated for you and you would like a personal reading, my email is in the description below. As always, thank you so much for liking, subscribing, and watching, and we'll see you very soon for another reading. Sending you lots of love and light.